Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Draupadi Murmu elected as the 15th President of India, the first tribal woman and the youngest President to hold the post, to be sworn in on Monday at the Central Hall of Parliament. President, Vice President and Prime Minister and several leaders across the nation greet Ms. Murmu on her historic win. Both houses of Parliament face repeated disruptions following uproar by opposition parties over the issues of price rise and GST hike on essential commodities. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon people to strengthen the Har Ghar Tiranga movement as the nation is marking Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav this year. Delhi Lieutenant Governor recommends CBI investigation into new excise policy of Delhi government. Central Board of Secondary Education announces Class 12 board examination results. National Film Awards to be announced today. Dinesh Gunawardena takes oath as Sri Lanka's new Prime Minister. Neeraj Chopra and Rohit Yadav qualify for Maiden World Athletics Championships final at Oregon in the US. In badminton, Parupalli Kashyap to take on Sung Ju Wen of Malaysia in men's singles quarterfinals at Taipei Open Badminton this afternoon. And in cricket, the three-match ODI series between India and the West Indies to begin with opener at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain this evening. Draupadi Murmu has been elected as the 15th President of India. Returning officer of the presidential election and Rajya Sabha Secretary General P.C. Modi announced the election of Ms. Murmu after completion of counting of the votes last evening. He said Ms. Murmu bagged 64% of votes in the poll and opposition candidate Yashwant Sinha got 36%. Later, returning officer Modi went to Ms. Murmu's residence and handed over the certificate to her. Ms. Murmu is the first tribal woman and the second woman to hold the position of President of India. Chief Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramana, will administer the oath of office to Ms. Murmu on Monday at the Central Hall of Parliament. More from our correspondent.
64-year-old Draupadi Murmu will be the youngest president of the country. She will be the first president of India who is born after independence. In 1997, Ms. Murmu first joined politics and was elected councillor in Rairangpur Notified Area Council in Mayurbhanj district of Odisha. She served twice as MLA from Rairangpur Assembly constituency from 2000 to 2009 and once as Minister for Commerce, Transport, Fisheries and Animal Resources Development in Odisha government. On 18th May 2015, Ms. Murmu took oath as Governor of Jharkhand and stayed in the post till 12 July last year. She was the first women governor of the state and the first female tribal leader to serve as governor in any Indian state. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
We have a report from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
While party men and people are all agog on the occasion, for the people of Rairangpur in particular, the place of Mrs. Murmu, it's all about a dream come true, being deftly expressed through feasting and frolicking, drumming and dancing. The very fact that for the first time ever, an Odia woman, that too from the tribal community from Rairangpur, is going to grace Raishana Hills is cause enough for celebration not only for the Odias, but also for the entire country as well. The feeling of a sense of pride will continue to reverberate across the state for a long, long time, not only for the symbolism that accompany Mrs. Murmu, but also for the gracefulness and humbleness that hides all our vast experience in the field of administration, governance, politics, and social service. Jatindra, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar and Election Commissioner Anup Chandra Pandey today jointly signed certification of election of Ms. Draupadi Murmu as the next President of India. With this, the process of election of President of India has been completed. The poll for the President's election was held on the 18th of this month at Parliament House and all state capitals. During the election, 4,754 electors, including 763 MPs and 3,991 MLAs, exercised their franchise. President Ramnath Kovind has extended his congratulations and best wishes to Ms. Murmu on being elected as the 15th President of India. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said in a tweet that her wide experience in public life, spirit of selfless service and deep understanding of people's issues will greatly benefit the nation. Mr. Naidu also met Ms. Murmu at her residence in New Delhi today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Home Minister Amit Shah, BJP President Jagat Prakash Nadda and several union ministers and MPs visited Ms. Murmu's residence and greeted her. Congratulating Ms. Murmu, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said her role in giving voice to the hopes and aspirations of people is exemplary. Andhra Pradesh Governor Biswabhushan Harichandan also congratulated Ms. Murmu and said Draupadi Murmu is a dedicated leader who worked for the welfare of tribal people and it was a proud moment for the entire tribal community and the country. Governor of Rajasthan Kalraj Mishra congratulated Ms. Murmu and expressed confidence that under the leadership of Ms. Murmu the pride of the country would increase further. Former Chief Minister of Rajasthan Vasundhara Raje also extended her congratulations and best wishes to Ms. Murmu. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said Draupadi Murmu's election is a statement of an authentic and inclusive India. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said this is a remarkable day for Indian democracy. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde extended his warm wishes for her journey ahead as the President. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur congratulated Ms. Draupadi Murmu on being elected as the President of India and said it is indeed a moment of pride and honour for the country.
The issues of price rise and GST hike on essential commodities continue to disrupt the proceedings of both houses of Parliament today. In the Lok Sabha, when the House met after the first adjournment at 12 noon, opposition continued their protest over the issue of price rise and GST hike. Members from Congress, DMK, TRS and others trooped to the well, raising slogans against the government, demanding rollback of GST imposed of essential commodities. The chairman tried to take up the listed business amidst din. However, the opposition members did not heed to the repeated requests from the chair to go back to the seats. As pandemonium continued, the House was adjourned till 2 p.m. Opposition protests were also witnessed in the Rajya Sabha. When the House met for the day, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu rejected the adjournment notices given by opposition members over the issue of price rise and GST hike. This prompted opposition members from the Congress and others to create ruckus in the House. Mr. Naidu said 1 week time of the House has been wasted due to continuous disruption despite the fact that the House is ready for discussion over the issue. Amid noisy scenes, the House was adjourned till 12 noon. When the House reassembled, it took up the question hour amid din. Members from Congress, Left, AAP and TRS trooped to the well. Members of NCP, Shiv Sena, RJD and others were on their feet. Leader of the House, Piyush Goyal, reiterated that the government is ready for discussion once the Finance Minister will recover from the COVID. Leader of the Opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge, said the Opposition is demanding a discussion over the issue of price rise under Rule 267. Responding to it, Deputy Chairman Harivansh said the government and opposition should talk about holding discussion. Early in the morning, independent member Kapil Sibal had to take oath again as his earlier oath was not in the proper format. Congress-led opposition parties today demanded the government to roll back the GST imposed on essential commodities like milk products which common man use daily. Congress and left parties held a demonstration in front of Mahatma Gandhi's statue at Parliament over price rise. Talking to media, senior leader of the Congress party, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, said the opposition is demanding a discussion over the issues and the government is avoiding the same. He also said the railways should give concessions to senior citizens as it is for social good. He also alleged that the government, which waived huge amounts under the NPA for the corporate giants, is not paying attention to the needs of the common people. Senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge, Shiv Sena's Priyanka Chaturvedi, RSP member N.K. Prem Chandran, among others, participated in the demonstration.
The Union Government today said the setting up of the regional benches of the Supreme Court in different parts of the country is under examination of the Constitutional Bench of the Supreme Court and the decision is awaited. Law and Justice Minister Kiren Rijiju informed this to the Lok Sabha during the question hour. He said the Law Commission in its various reports suggested that the Supreme Court benches be set up outside Delhi too. He further said the Chief Justice of India in 2010 found that there is no justification in setting up of benches of the Supreme Court outside Delhi. However, the Apex Court in another writ petition has found it proper to refer the matter to a constitutional bench for authoritative pronouncement. The minister added that the matter is sub judice. The National Institutes and Research Councils under the Department of Ayush have been granted 86 patents for the medicines and processes that have Ayurveda-related proprietary knowledge during the past 3 years. Ayush Minister Sarbananda Sonowal informed this in a written reply in the Lok Sabha during the question hour today. He said the Central Council for Research in Ayurvedic Science has received 18 patents during the past 3 years, and 3 more applications for patents are in process.
India has extended a $400 million currency swap to Sri Lanka under the SAARC framework and deferred successive Asian Clearing Union settlements till the 6th of July this year. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha today, the Minister of External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar, said the government is committed to develop friendly and mutually beneficial relations with all its neighbours. He said a line of credit of $500 million was extended to Sri Lanka for importing fuel from India. He said India has also extended a credit facility of $1 billion for the procurement of food, medicines and other essential items from India. The minister said humanitarian assistance was also provided to Sri Lanka by gifting essential medicines worth about 6 crore rupees, 15,000 litres of kerosene oil and $55 million line of credit for procurement of urea fertilizer. He said India has extended 8 lines of credit to Sri Lanka, amounting to over $1,850 million in sectors including railways, infrastructure, defence, renewable energy, petroleum and fertilizers in the past 10 years. The minister said Tamil Nadu government has also contributed rice, milk powder and medicines worth $16 million as part of the larger Indian assistance effort. The Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena has recommended an investigation by the Central Bureau of Investigation into Delhi Excise Policy 2021-22 of the Delhi government. According to sources, the decision was taken after a report by the Delhi Chief Secretary which established prima facie violations of the government of the National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Act 2021 and Delhi Excise Act 2009. The report also alleges deliberate and gross procedural lapses to provide post-tender undue benefits to liquor licensees.
Reserve Bank of India's Governor Shaktikanta Das today said the Indian rupee is holding up well relative to both advanced and emerging market economies. This is because our underlying fundamentals are strong, resilient and intact. He was speaking at Bank of Baroda's annual banking conference in Mumbai. He said the recovery is gradually strengthening. The current account deficit is modest, inflation is stabilizing, the financial sector is well capitalized and sound. The external debt to GDP ratio is declining while the foreign exchange reserves are adequate. Mr. Das said there is a genuine shortfall of supply of forex in the market relative to demand because of import and debt servicing requirements and portfolio outflows. Over 201 crore 30 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 37 lakh 6,000 doses were administered yesterday. The recovery rate is currently at 98.46%. Over 21,000 people recovered in the last 24 hours. Total number of recoveries have reached 4 crore 31 lakh 71,653. Over 21,000 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload currently stands at 1,49,482. 60 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours.
You were listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Draupadi Murmu elected as the 15th President of India, the first tribal woman and the youngest President to hold the post, to be sworn in on Monday at the Central Hall of Parliament. President, Vice President and Prime Minister and several leaders across the nation greet Ms. Murmu on a historic win. Both houses of Parliament face repeated disruptions following uproar by opposition parties over the issues of price rise and GST hike on essential commodities. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon people to strengthen the Har Ghar Tiranga movement as the nation is marking Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav this year. Delhi Lieutenant Governor recommends CBI investigation into new excise policy of Delhi government. Central Board of Secondary Education announces Class 12 board examination results. National Film Awards to be announced today. Dinesh Gunawardena takes oath as Sri Lanka's new Prime Minister. Neeraj Chopra and Rohit Yadav qualify for Maiden World Athletics Championships final at Oregon in the US. In badminton, Parupalli Kashyap to take on Soon Ju Wen of Malaysia in the men's singles quarterfinals at Taipei Open this afternoon. And in cricket, a 3-match ODI series between India and West Indies to begin with open at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain this evening. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
क्या आप वरिष्ठ नागरिक हैं? क्या आपके मन में सेहत, आर्थिक, सामाजिक या भावनात्मक मुद्दों से जुड़ा कोई सवाल है? आकाशवाणी आपके लिए लेकर आया है कार्यक्रम एक कदम और बुजुर्गों के लिए, हर रविवार रात 9:30 बजे FM गोल्ड पर। आप अपने सवाल हमें व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर भेज सकते हैं या इस पते पर ईमेल कर सकते हैं एक कदम और airnews@gmail.com। 24 जुलाई को सुनिए कार्यक्रम का पहला अंक। आपके सवाल हमें 22 जुलाई तक मिल जाने चाहिए।
Listen to Commonwealth Games quiz with AIR News Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. every day. All you have to do is reply to a question on the Commonwealth Games. Email your answers at airsportscan@gmail.com. The first correct answer will be selected as the winner and rewarded with a jersey of the Indian Commonwealth Games team. So keep cheering to India, listening to Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. on FM Gold 100.1 MHz and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official.
Welcome back to the Midday News. The Central Board of Secondary Education today announced Class 12 results. The pass percentage is 92.71%. In all, 14,35,366 students appeared in the Class 12 board examination. The pass percentage of boys is 91.25% and pass percentage of girls is 94.54%. The girls have done better than boys by 3.29%. The CBSE said 30% weightage was given to the first term exams and 70% weightage to the second term exams. Over 33,000 students have scored above 95% and 1,34,000 students scored above 90% in the examination. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated all the students who passed the CBSE Class 12 examination. He said the grit and dedication of these youngsters is commendable. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said they prepared for the exam through a time when humanity faced a monumental challenge and achieved this success. He says there are innumerable opportunities that are awaiting the young exam warriors who passed the 12th exam. Mr. Modi urged them to follow their inner calling and pursue subjects they are passionate about.
National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met his United Kingdom counterpart Stephen Lovegrove yesterday. They discussed a wide range of subjects of bilateral and global significance. The focus on specific and substantial outcomes to take the partnership forward in line with the vision of the Roadmap 2030. Taking forward discussions between the two Prime Ministers, they discussed forward-looking cooperation in technology and defence sectors with a focus on key objectives of Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. The 68 National Film Awards were announced today. The jury has submitted this report to Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur in New Delhi today. In a tweet, Mr. Thakur said he is delighted to receive the 68 National Film Awards report. The National Film Awards are the most prestigious film awards in India. The awards are intended to encourage the production of films that are both artistically and technically excellent as well as socially relevant.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called upon people to strengthen the Har Ghar Tiranga movement as the nation is marking Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav this year. In a tweet, Mr. Modi asked people to hoist the tricolour or display it in their homes between the 13th and 15th of August. He said this movement will deepen our connect with the national flag. The Prime Minister said the 22nd of July has a special relevance in our history. He said it was on this day in 1947 that our national flag was adopted. Mr. Modi also shared some interesting nuggets from history, including details of the committee associated with our tricolour and the first tricolour unfurled by Pandit Nehru. The Prime Minister said today we recall the monumental courage and efforts of all those who dreamt of a flag for free India when we were fighting colonial rule. He said the government reiterating the commitment to fulfill their vision and build the India of their dreams. Home Minister Amit Shah has called upon countrymen to join the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav by hoisting the tricolour from their homes. In a series of tweets, Mr. Shah appeals to everyone to join this campaign by hoisting the tricolour from their homes from the 13th to the 15th of August. He said with this campaign, the tricolour will be hoisted in about 20 crore homes across the country, which will work to further brighten the flame of patriotism amongst citizens, especially the youth. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has also urged everyone to be a part of Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. In a tweet, Mr. Thakur said a symbol of courage, peace and truth, Tiranga is every Indian's pride. He asked people to bring the national flag at home and hoist it proudly. The minister said, let the world know what it means to be a true Indian.
अब हर घर की छत पर शान से फहरेगा तिरंगा, गुनगुनाए जाएंगे नव विकास के गीत, आन बान शान का प्रतीक राष्ट्रध्वज तिरंगा। आइए आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर इस स्वाधीनता दिवस हर घर फहराते हैं तिरंगा और लेते हैं भव्य और सशक्त भारत के निर्माण का संकल्प।
आइए हर घर फहराएं तिरंगा।
And now let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
विजय विश्व तिरंगा प्यारा, झंडा ऊंचा रहे हमारा.
On the 22nd of July 1947, the Constituent Assembly of India adopted the Indian national flag. In 1921, Pingali Venkaiah presented the flag design to Gandhiji that consisted of two colors, red and green. Arya Samaj leader and educationist Lala Hansraj suggested the addition of the charkha in the center of the flag.
Gandhiji later modified the flag by adding a white stripe in the center, which signifies peace. In May 1923 at Nagpur, during peaceful protests against the British rule, the flag was carried by thousands of people.
The flag came to be associated with nationhood for India, and it was officially recognized at the annual session of Congress in August 1931. In the session, the current arrangement of stripes and the use of saffron color instead of red were also approved. The three horizontal stripes of saffron, white and green stand for, respectively, courage and sacrifice, peace and truth, and fertility and growth.
On July the 22nd, 1947, the Constituent Assembly of India adopted the Indian national flag, but with slight modification. Its stripes remained the same, saffron, white, green, but the spinning wheel was replaced by a blue-colored Dharma Chakra with 24 spokes, and thus evolved our national flag.
We also remember freedom fighter Jatindra Mohan Gupta on his death anniversary. Born on the 22nd of February 1885, Jatindra Mohan hailed from Chittagong, now in Bangladesh. Originally a member of the Anushilan Samiti, he became a barrister at law. In many criminal cases, he defended the nationalist revolutionaries in the court and saved them from the gallows. He pleaded for Surya Sen, Ananta Singh, Ambika Chakraborty in the Pahartali trial and also saved a young revolutionary, Premananda Datta, who had been accused in the case relating to the murder of an inspector.
Jatindra left his lucrative legal practice to take part in the non-cooperation movement in 1921. He organized and led the strikes, directly involved with the Satyagrahi labourers of tea estates in Chandpur. He was arrested in 1921. Jatindra Mohan succeeded Deshbandhu Chittaranjan Das as the president of the Bengal Provincial Congress Committee and also as the mayor of the Calcutta Corporation in 1925. He was re-elected mayor of Calcutta in 1926, 1927, 1928 and 1930. He was elected to the Bengal Legislative Council in 1926 and went to Burma in February 1930, where he also addressed a public meeting. The police arrested him on the 14th of March 1930 on the charge of inciting people against the government and opposing the separation of Burma from India. He was tried and acquitted.
Jatindra Mohan returned to Calcutta and took active part in the civil disobedience movement 1930. Arrested and detained several times, he started a non-official inquiry into the atrocities committed on the people of Chittagong following the raid on the Chittagong Armoury in April 1930. He went to London in October 1931 to attend the Round Table Conference and placed his inquiry report before it.
Returning to India by an Italian ship, he was arrested aboard the ship near Mumbai on the 17th of January 1932 and detained in the Yerwada jail, Pune. Transferred to Darjeeling, his health started failing due to ill treatment and solitary confinement. He was interned in Ranchi on the 5th of June 1933, where only his wife was allowed to attend to him. Seriously ill with heart disease, Jatindra Mohan Sen Gupta, lovingly called Deshapriya, died in prison at Ranchi on the 22nd of July 1933. We salute the great martyr.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In Sri Lanka, Dinesh Gunawardena took the oath as Sri Lanka's new Prime Minister today. Gunawardena's appointment comes a day after six-time Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was sworn in as the country's new president. On the other hand, security forces raided the main anti-government protest camp in the capital early this morning, arresting protesters and dismantling tents.
India's Neeraj Chopra qualified for the men's Javelin throw final at the World Athletics Championships in Oregon, USA with an effort of 88.39 meters. The 24-year-old will now compete in the final, which is said to be held early morning tomorrow. Along with Neeraj, Rohit Yadav will also be in action in the Javelin throw qualifiers. In badminton, India's Parupalli Kashyap will take on Sun Ju Wen of Malaysia in the men's singles quarterfinals at the Taipei Open this afternoon. In cricket, the first ODI of the three-match series between India and West Indies will be played today at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain. The match will start at 7 p.m. Indian time.
Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Draupadi Murmu elected as the 15th President of India, the first tribal woman and the youngest President to hold the post. To be sworn in on Monday at the Central Hall of Parliament. President, Vice President and Prime Minister and several leaders across the nation greet Ms. Murmu on her historic win. Both houses of Parliament face repeated disruptions following uproar by opposition parties over the issues of price rise and GST hike on essential commodities. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon people to strengthen the Har Ghar Tiranga movement as the nation is marking Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav this year. Delhi Lieutenant Governor recommends CBI investigation into new excise policy of Delhi government. CBSE announces Class 12 board examination results. National Film Awards to be announced today. Dinesh Gunawardena takes oath as Sri Lanka's new Prime Minister. Neeraj Chopra and Rohit Yadav qualify for maiden World Athletics Championships final at Oregon in the US. In badminton, Parupalli Kashyap to take on Sun Ju Wen of Malaysia and men's singles quarterfinals at Taipei Open this afternoon. And in cricket, three-match ODI series between India and the West Indies to begin with the opener at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain this evening. And with that, we end the midday news.